This podcast contains explicit language and content and is for mature audiences only.
Hey, you teenagers out there. If you're under 18, this show is more for your parents. So now that you have that mental picture stuck in your head, put some music on and get back to doing your homework.
We are a longtime married couple who's decided to chronicle our personal adventures and share our sex-positive discussions as we navigate our way through the swinging lifestyle.
Care to join us?
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Mr. Jones.
And I'm Mrs. Jones, and this is episode 11 of the We Got a Thing podcast. It's a Tuesday night, July 7th. We had some extra time on our hands tonight and decided to go ahead and podcast while our trip to Desire is fresh in our minds.
Yes, and speaking of Desire, to commemorate that, I just finished a glass of sippin' tequila.
And I am working on a glass of Liqueur 43.
Yes.
Which was one of my favorite drinks of choice while we were in Mexico.
Yes, and we'll talk about that more in just a minute.
Yes, some memorable moments involve Liqueur 43.
Yeah. So tonight we're going to, in our three segments, in the first two segments, we're going to talk about Pearl.
Yes, and our podcast this month is called Desire Pearl 2015, Sex Forts and Power Washers.
Yes.
So you'll have to stay tuned to the Pearl part to figure out why in the world we are mentioning sex forts and power washers.
Yeah. It does become a little more apparent as we get into the story. Yeah, not a very sexy title, but you'll get it in a bit. So
the sex fort's sexy. There's just no doubt about that.
Yes, that's true. So segment one, we're going to talk about, and keeping up with the Joneses, we're going to talk about the Desire Resort itself, and the amenities and the food and things like that, because people have a lot of questions about that. But then in segment two, for our topic for tonight, we're going to talk about the experience that we had at Pearl, because there's Pearl the place, and then there's Pearl the experience, and every time that we've been there, we've had a different and very unique experience. So we're going to talk about our experience in segment two.
It was awesome.
Yes.
Just a little preview.
Yes. Well, you just gave it all away. Now we got to start over.
Yeah. Don't turn us off yet.
And then of course we have snapshots at the end. We have our snapshots, and we have a few that we're going to share from our listeners.
Yeah.
So let's
spicy.
Yes, definitely. Let's get right into keeping up with the Joneses, because we got to get this out of the way first. The bad news is we got rejected.
Mr. Jones is devastated. Oh my gosh.
Don't these people know who we are?
No, they don't.
We're podcasters.
So what? That just means we're two old people that have microphones stuffed in our closet.
I tell you, the lifestyle has a way to keep you humble.
Yes, it does.
Because we had so many good experiences in a row, and I'm like, you know what? We got this figured out. We got our shit together.
Yeah.
We're going to blow these people away. I mean, they contacted us yesterday through, we both happened to be off from work. And they said, hey, just looked at your profile. We happen to be in the area. We live close by. Do you want to meet for drinks? And so we hopped up from the table and
jumped in the
car and went down and had a great conversation with them.
Super attractive.
Very attractive. And great personalities. And they had a great relationship.
Yeah.
And boy, we left there. And as soon as we got in the car, I told Mrs. Jones, I said, text them and say we had a great time and we're looking forward to seeing them again. And she did. And that was probably like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Then 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. I'm thinking, they haven't responded yet. And at dinner, I remember telling you, I said, we got rejected.
Yeah.
And you said, give them some time. And sure enough, then they did text us, and their text said something about, well, it was nice to meet you, and it was a great conversation, period. Yep. So
it said, okay, here's the text right here. I said, thanks so much for a fun afternoon. You guys are a great couple. Let us know if you're interested in getting together again sometime. And they replied like 3 hours later, you're welcome and thank you. You both are great people. We enjoyed meeting you and sharing fun stories. Period.
So I'm still licking my wound.
I'm not thinking that was 100% rejection.
No, that's a shutdown right there. That's a shutdown right there.
Oh, well.
So anyway, let's get beyond that, because we did, before we get to Pearl, we did have, we met another couple in Central Virginia. That was last weekend, right?
Yeah.
And we went about an hour southwest of here, and we ate dinner at an old Civil War era mansion that had been turned into a bed and breakfast.
This place was gorgeous. It would have been an amazing place for like a wedding or, oh my goodness.
I mean, it was
so pretty.
It was a great evening. I mean, it was sprinkling a little bit when we got there, but the weather cleared up and we were able to get a cocktail and walk around the grounds and, you know, kind of check out the house and the bed and breakfast part and the historical references around, and got to chat with them a while. And then dinner was amazing. Yeah.
We were in like a private room.
Yes, that was a perfect place for a lifestyle dinner.
Yeah, it was.
We were at table number 1.
Yeah. When you walked in the front door, there were these 2 tiny, tiny rooms to the left and then to the right.
They were like little alcoves, but
yeah, and
big enough
it
for
just
a table.
held a nice. That probably could have been a table for 6.
Yeah,
a round table for 6, but it was set for the 4 of us, and it was just big enough for the table and then for the servers to make their way around,
right.
And it was so private.
Right, and we took our time. We got there at
5:30.
5:30, and I know we were the last ones to leave.
Yeah, we probably left
was
at
like at 10:30.
Yeah. No.
10.
I think we got home at 10:30, so I think it was like 9:30.
9:30, right.
So we were there for 4 hours.
Yeah. But it was an amazing meal. Several courses. The wine was great, and the conversation was great. And, you know, they were very, very curious. They do listen to our podcast. And, you know, we had one of the things that they wanted to talk about among many was the fact that we had said that we're involved in our church, and they had that conversation. So it gave us an opportunity, because we're going to podcast about that in the future, and it gave us an opportunity to kind of express to them, you know, how we reconcile that and what our thoughts are.
And it was
on
interesting hearing their perspective on it.
Yes,
you know?
definitely.
So it was a great conversation both ways.
Right. And, you know, we are going to see them again.
Yes.
We didn't get rejected that
No.
But
that would have been awful. Okay, 2 in a row. I would have been devastated too.
I mean, they're 2 hours away, so we probably won't get to see them that often.
No.
But they're close enough where on an occasion, you know, we can get away and spend some time with them. So that was a great experience.
Yes. Okay, so back to Pearl. So the resort itself, you know, this is the 4th time we've been there in like a year and a half. So we've obviously enjoyed our visits there because we've been there so many times. And every time we've gone there, we've used USA transfers. And we just want to take some of our precious time of podcasting to give a shout out to USA transfers. They are so reliable and so professional. They have never, ever let us down. And, you know, they're reasonably priced. It's private transportation. So, I mean, literally, you know, by the time you go through the little red light, green light thing at customs and you walk outside, you're probably at the resort in less than 30 minutes.
Yeah, and they're always private transportation, so we don't have to stop at every place along the way. And I think $70 round trip
it's pretty reasonable.
And we know with confidence when we come out of that airport, they're going to be standing there with that clipboard.
Yeah,
and
they speak great English, so you don't have a language barrier.
Right, in 20 minutes they're dropping you off at Pearl. So yeah, way to go, USA Transfers. Can't say enough about them.
And then they drop you off at Pearl and they say, welcome home. And you get your nice ice cold towel and your glass of champagne.
And they put the bracelet around your ankle.
And then Mr. Jones finally gets to smile and say, I'm on vacation.
Vacation starts officially.
He will not admit that he's happy in vacation mode until he gets that little bracelet on his ankle.
Well, it's not vacation until you get there. That's
my
the
goodness.
The vacation is not the airport. The vacation is not transferring flights. Getting in USA Trans. The vacation starts when they crimp that band around your ankle.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
well, vacation really starts when you get through the lobby, because we got there really early. We were probably there by 10:30.
Yeah.
So the vacation really starts when they send you out of the lobby and we get to go to the spa and change. They give us a locker because our room isn't ready because we're there so early.
We don't change. We take our clothes off.
Well, I put a cover up on. Seriously. Okay. I mean, until we get to the pool, then I drop the cover up.
Make it sound like we're changing into clothes.
No.
People are clicking this off right now.
Right.
We don't change into clothes. We take our clothes off.
This is clothing optional.
And go to the pool.
No, so one weird thing about the spa, though, is there's like a guy side and a girl side.
It's not weird.
It's weird for me. This is like back to the toothbrush story, I swear. So we go into the guy's side, and that's where they give us a shared locker. So we're, putting suntan lotion on each other, and then I need to go to the bathroom. Well, I'm on the guy's side, so I see some stalls over to the side. So I walk by, and Mr. Jones was kind of off to the side there, and I walked by, and this is just like we don't use each other's toothbrush. Mr. Jones is using the urinal, and I walked right by him, and I'm like, oh my goodness. I couldn't even see anything, and I was like all embarrassed. So I definitely have some issues about bathroom things with Mr. Jones.
Okay, we should talk about
I know. So anyway, they're just so laid back there. I guess that's my point. It's just free and easy when you get to Mexico.
Yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit about the amenities of the resort. We normally get an oceanfront room. We get the smallest room they have because we don't spend a lot of time.
No, and those rooms are huge, actually.
Yeah, it's plenty big. It's a king-size bed.
Yeah, I mean, the master suites are awesome because they have like wet bars.
And 2 bathrooms.
Separate living room and 2 bathrooms. But, we seem to get by just fine with a regular room.
And this time our room was on the first floor, which was great because you didn't have to go up the stairs. But the only drawback was it appears we had some ants on the first floor who just happened to get into our dresser and coincidentally got into the drawer where Mrs. Jones keeps her panties and
my little booty shorts that I wear to breakfast.
May have been in her shorts when she put them on to go to breakfast, and they may have bitten her, and they may have left about 6 or 8 big red welts
may have
on her
something
ass.
Bit my ass. It was awful. I had like 6 huge red welts.
Right.
I mean, they were like $0.50 size welts on my butt.
Especially since it was day 1 or day 2 when they showed up, and your ass was still white.
I know. It was so sexy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway, you had to look closely to see them. They weren't that bad.
Oh, please.
Yeah. So,
anyway, that was kind of the only drawback about having a first floor room.
Yeah. So the rooms are really nice, and the resort itself is very clean. Outside, they're always pruning bushes. They're always sweeping leaves off the sidewalk. It's just an immaculate place.
They were staining the tile around the hot tub one day. I mean, just constantly making improvements.
Right. And so as far as the food goes, the food is consistently good. It's not going to be 5-star restaurant but it's really good food, and we never get sick when we go there. So we get up in the morning. We have our coffee and go to breakfast, or sometimes we even work out, but that only happens like the first couple days we're there, and then then somehow that doesn't become
Screw
important.
That.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to go run. I only slept 3 hours last night.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, they had really good bacon this time. I was like American bacon, nice and crispy, and they make omelets to order. And,
you and one of our friends, and we're really into your bacon in the morning.
Yeah, I think breakfast there and the fresh fruit. I mean, breakfast is my favorite meal there. The sun's coming up over the water, and it's just the start of a day. And
fresh mango, and they make the best green juice. Yeah, nice and healthy.
I like the watermelon juice, but anyway.
And lunch is great. They do a grill. Most days, I think they had a grill outside for lunch. So if you didn't feel like getting dressed and going inside the restaurant, you could just put a cover up on and go get something off the grill and take it back to your beach chair or pool chair or whatever and eat there.
Right.
So you had lots of options.
Yeah, they cooked out for lunch, and then for dinner, there's 2 restaurants. There's Pearl, which is the more formal of the 2, and
yes, gentlemen, there's always questions. Like on the desire form, there's always questions. Yes, you have to wear long pants and closed-toed shoes if you want to eat at Pearl. You don't if you want to eat at Aphrodite, the other restaurant down near the beach.
Right. And Aphrodite's the same place you eat breakfast and lunch.
Yeah. And I mean, and it's nice in the evening. They have tablecloths and, very nice service.
They have a menu.
Yeah.
It's not a buffet.
No, but the gentleman can wear shorts and sandals in there.
Right. And they rotate the menus, and the food is good.
And there is a sushi restaurant, too. It's on top of Aphrodite.
That's right.
And we did not go there. It's only open like 3 nights a week. at least this time of year.
Right.
And you had to make reservations, and we were never organized enough to do that.
Right. So that's our quick review of the food. As far as the drinks are really good. They do use top shelf alcohol. Your mini bar is fully stocked with plenty of water and beer and anything else that you might want in there. So this week specifically, we focused in on a couple of drinks. At the pool, we stuck with Citron tonic most of the week with lime.
Right. So Absolute Citron vodka and tonic with extra lime.
Right.
Nice and refreshing.
Of course, we'd start the day with a Bloody Mary, but then we would shift to...
with Tabasco.
With the vodka.
Man, you ask Mexicans to put Tabasco sauce in your Bloody Mary. You better be prepared for what you ask for. Yeah. It was some spicy stuff.
Yeah, and then the new drink that we learned about from one of our new friends was called the Real Deal Margarita. And when you order that down there, the bartenders are extremely happy because evidently this is how they drink their margaritas. And maybe you could explain it better than I can.
Well, all it is they make it in a martini shaker and they serve it in a martini glass rimmed with salt, and there's no ice. I mean, there's of course ice in the martini shaker, but they don't serve it over ice, and it's not a frozen concoction like we get here in the States. It was just Don Julio, and you can use whatever orange liqueur you want. I mean, like you use Grand Marnier or Cointreau or Triple Sec or whatever, and then lime juice, and that's it. There was no sweet and sour, no Rose's lime juice. It was just pure lime juice, nice tequila, and some sort of orange liqueur.
Yeah, and then they would take a martini glass and salt the rim and serve it in a martini glass.
Yeah,
so it was really good.
And it packed the punch.
Yeah.
You had to be really careful about doing it.
That's what tequila does.
And it was so smooth because they used the nice tequila, and it wasn't super sweet, but it wasn't too tart. It just went down really, really easy.
Right. So is that all the drinks we want to talk about?
Oh, well, other than my liqueur 43, which
that'll come into play later.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Body Shots.
Yeah.
So the other great thing about Pearl is the staff. Not only is the ratio of, it's 1-to-1 staff to guests. They have 178 guests and like 176 staff.
Yeah.
So there's people all over the place, and they are taking care of you all the time, and they remember your name. And there's a very low turnover rate there. So you see the same people trip after trip after trip. So that's another reason that it makes it going home very friendly, very professional. And I know a lot of people that haven't been before may wonder what it's like to be waited on. Not waited on because you have clothes on inside, but when you're at the pool and at the jacuzzi and the bartenders are there with clothes on, it's not awkward. After about the first 5 minutes, they
see naked people every single day.
Yeah, and the truth...
that they don't bat an eye.
The truth is, when we know some of them well enough to know that we've talked to them personally, and they say the reason that the turnover is so low here is because, honestly, this is one of the friendliest resorts for them to work at. Everybody's so respectful. They get tipped well, and they're compensated well there, too. So
people are happy. Nobody's rude.
Right. Which... is typically what you find in the lifestyle is real people. And so the staff is they're happy, and when they're happy, they're authentically, they're just going to serve you and be sincere. So they're really wonderful staff. Then during the day, they'll have activities. They have, volleyball on the beach, volleyball in the pool, basketball in the pool, polo. One of the things that, the Joneses were the Desire Pearl cornhole champions.
Yes.
The week we
were undefeated. We played other guests. We played the girls on the entertainment staff. We played the guys on the entertainment staff. And I didn't think Marco was going to let us go home because he hadn't beat us yet.
Right.
He was pretty bitter when we said goodbye. He's like, "You're leaving today, but we need to play cornhole again."
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, he kept changing the rules. He kept changing the distances. He kept changing the bags, whatever he did. And, we just kept beating them.
So I suck at cornhole normally when we play at home because we have cornhole boards here at home. And I suck. I mean, like I can get the bag in the hole, but then like the next 15 bags, I can't even hit the board with. I'm like totally inconsistent.
You don't suck anymore.
Well, my key to success is that you have to be naked.
Right.
My clothes obviously
your boobs
impede my ability to swing my arm properly.
Yeah, it's all about balance. Yep.
Because at one point I got 6 bags in a row. Right. It was ridiculous.
And we did win the distracted darts contest.
We did.
Because nobody else got in the game.
Yeah, that was lame.
And we had podcasted about this before because we came in second last time because I couldn't hit the G-spot. Yeah. And I was going to redeem myself, and we were the only ones that wanted to play, so they just gave us the shirts.
Yeah.
Anticlimactic.
I know.
And then the other game that we played was the exotic drink judging contest, and you volunteered to be a judge.
I did. There were 6 of us that judged, and what they did is the entertainment staff each had their own drink that they had concocted. So they had a blender outside, and they had martini shakers and all these different types of liquor and mixers and everything. And they would say the name of their drink, and every one of them were erotic names. So they would make their drink and then pour into the 6 glasses, and then we would get to taste them and judge them on a scale of 1 to 10. And most of them were really awful. But Marco, the Italian guy on the entertainment staff, the name of his drink was the Italian Boner. So I gave it a 10 before he even made the drink. So yeah, I think I might have scored some points there.
Yeah, I think you had fun doing that.
It was really fun. The drinks were awful, but it was fun.
Yeah. So then later in the day, what normally happens is you spend the day playing games, lounging around the pool, having lunch, and then as the pool bar closes at 5 and everybody kind of migrates to the hot tub, and we'll talk about body shots and things in a minute, but the bar opens at the hot tub, and it's a huge hot tub, and it was very clean. And the mood kind of starts to shift a little bit when you go there. The other thing that I forgot about was the foam party.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we did 2 foam parties because that was on Saturday, and we happened to be there for 2 Saturdays. We had a blast at both of them, but especially the second Saturday we were there because we knew so many more people, and they threw the beach balls in, and we were hitting each other in the heads and the faces with the beach balls, and that turned into a lot of fun.
Well, the first Saturday we were there, we got to meet Jesse and Jenny from the Playboy Swing show.
Right.
They were leaving the next day. They had been there the week before.
Right.
So we got to meet them. They were a great couple.
Right.
So shout out to them. We told them about our podcast, so hopefully you guys are listening.
Yep. And then so after the hot tub experience, people normally either go to Pearl or Aphrodite for dinner, and then after dinner to the disco to see the show for the evening, and there's a different theme every night. And the themes were a little bit different this time, but basically the same, and you looked hot every night.
I got to do my naughty schoolgirl night because I know that's your favorite.
My favorite.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. My hair in ponytails and my little plaid skirt.
Your little attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that I normally don't ever have an attitude.
No, you particularly have an attitude in the schoolgirl.
True.
Yeah. And we, so then you get, the shows were really good. I mean, they were a little bit of a variation this time because there was a 50 Shades theme the weekend that we got there. And a couple of the shows were based around that.
Right. With
more bondage sorts of things. But it's really adult Las Vegas style entertainment. But the shows are only about 10 minutes long. But it's a really small disco, so you're extremely close to the action. So it's you can see everything, which is really nice. And we noticed that they made some improvements to the resort this time.
When we were there in November, they had just finished expanding the outdoor lobby area. They kind of pushed it into the pond a little bit. I wish they'd get rid of the pond as a whole, but maybe they will someday. But for now, they pushed the lobby out maybe 12 feet or so, or 15 feet.
Right.
But now this time, as we were there, they actually were putting up glass doors around the lobby, and they put air conditioning in the lobby, which is heavenly.
Yeah, it made a big difference in the evenings.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it was nice and so it's good to see them continuing to improve the facility. It's already a great facility. Just a couple more things. We noticed this week that there was a lot of seaweed on the beach.
Yeah.
And those poor guys, they do nothing but move, shovel that, wheelbarrow that.
It is
stuff
such a futile effort. I felt so sorry for them. But the guy that runs a dive shop, his name's Caesar. He was telling somebody that the Caribbean Sea is warming, and that it's making the seaweed. I guess the seaweed used to be more of a seasonal thing. And because of the way the ocean temperature is warming, that it's not like dying off. It's just staying, and it's getting thicker and thicker and thicker. And it's a mess, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, the beach itself is really nice. They keep the sand clean.
Oh, yeah.
And the beds and the palapas are all really nice.
And you walk out on the pier, and the water's beautiful once you get out away from the shoreline.
Right. So that was the other thing that we did was they have photographers there. We got pictures taken.
Oh, yeah, we did do an erotic photo shoot.
Well, a lot of our profile pictures were 2 or 3 years old, so we wanted to, you're not going to see these pictures on our website, but
no.
We did use them to update our personal Cassidy and SLS pages. So we could put 2015 pictures up so we could stay current, because we did complain about that. We talked about profiles.
Well, we did it for more than just our profile pictures, honey. I mean, you're acting like you're never going to look at them yourself.
No, I've been looking at them.
It was really fun. They do a great job of making you feel comfortable. And like what I did is I laid out some lingerie and like a club dress and just different types of outfits I thought I might be comfortable being photographed in on the bed. And they come to your room, first of all, and he actually picked out the outfits he wanted me to wear. He kind of, give me once over. And then he said, I think you should wear this and this and this and this. And he was right. I mean, I guess he probably knows what kind of outfits move well as you're moving into different poses to be photographed. So, so we started in the bedroom, and that was kind of a nerve-wracking way to start, I thought.
Right.
But they did a good job of making us feel pretty comfortable.
Yep. So we went to the disco, did some there, and then went to the beach and finished up and bought a few of them. And so basically that's the resort, and that was kind of what we did. And when we come back into segment 2, we're going to talk more about the experience that we had that week at Pearl. So
that's the fun stuff. Woohoo!
The fun stuff is coming up next.
That's right.
Yeah, we'll be right back. Okay, well, now we want to talk about our experience that we had during the week. Like I said before, this is our 4th time to Pearl, and every time has, had kind of its own personality as the week goes on. And this was definitely somewhat of a different experience for us. It was amazing and wonderful, and, we had just the perfect time as always. But what made it a little bit different to start with is we had met some people online through a closed Facebook page. It all started out on the Desire Forum, which is a website, if you're not familiar with it, that is strictly for people that are going to Desire. And it is a great place to get information if you're thinking about going to Desire, or if you haven't been in a while and you don't know what the theme nights are, or, if anything's changed as far as restaurants and stuff go. It's a huge resource and really useful. Well, one of the places on this website is a place you can click into. It says, when are you arriving at Desire Pearl? And you can put your dates in there. Well, this guy, he was going the last week of June and kind of picked out people that were putting in dates that overlapped his dates. And he kind of would PM with them and chat with them a little bit and get to know them. And then he decided to create a closed Facebook group so that it would be a less cumbersome way to get to know people before we actually all got to Mexico. And he would invite people to join this group. And I think when all was said and done, there was probably, about 8 couples that were part of the group, I think. Yeah, 8 or 10 couples.
Yeah. Right. And it was great. It was a huge mixture of people. There were a couple couples that were in the lifestyle, some people that just really enjoyed the clothing optional aspect. There were some people that had never been before and had a million questions. And we had even one couple, they were going on their honeymoon.
Right.
So it was a really fun group of people to get to know ahead of time.
Right. So we knew when we had communicated with them for a year, in some cases, almost a year ahead of time. So even though we hadn't met them face to face, we were looking forward to meeting a lot of that group when we got down there. And so one of the things that we did right away was the second night, a couple of members of the group ended up having a penthouse, and one of them had a party. a couple from Florida that we met, and they had a bartender up there. They had hors d'oeuvres, they had wings, and other hors d'oeuvres up there. And it was just, I mean, they're on the top of the building. You're overlooking the entire resort. You got your.
It was before sunset, so we could still see everything. It was just magical.
Yes, and it gave us an opportunity to get to chat with everyone in our group face to face and have these conversations that we've been it was like a little meet and greet for face to face instead of on social network. And it really gave us an opportunity to get to know everybody, and that was a lot of fun. So
we ended up having dinner with people in the group all throughout the week. I think Mr. Jones and I only had dinner alone one night.
Yeah.
And we were intentional about that. We were like, hey, wait a minute. This is our vacation. We need to have a night, just the two of us. But most of the time we would have dinner, well, I think the first night we had dinner with pretty much the whole group. It was a huge table. Yep. And then I think most of the rest of the time it was just one couple here and one couple there, which was great because we really got to know everybody on a much more personal level. So one of the things that we had talked about on this closed Facebook group was being like virgins of certain types of things when you're coming to a wild and crazy resort like this. There were clothing optional virgins, and I don't know, the one that came up was body shot virgins, and I had commented that I was a body shot virgin, and actually so were a couple of the other ladies. So of course all the gentlemen wanted to like rectify that situation.
Of course.
Yeah, imagine that. So about halfway through the week, it was an afternoon at the hot tub, and it came up again. Hey, the vacation's half over, and you guys are still body shot virgins, and to the another lady and myself, and we were like, oh yeah, I guess you didn't forget about that. So two of the guys, her husband and another gentleman, went to the bar and came back with some nice tequila and limes and some liqueur 43. And I think the other lady might have been a little bit more scared than I was because she wasn't in the lifestyle. So I thought, okay, well, I'll sacrifice myself first. So
you took one for the team.
I did take one for the team. So they plopped me up on the edge of the hot tub, and the way I did my body shot, which made me feel comfortable, they didn't sprawl me out on the bar of the hot tub. I just sat on the ledge, and they had me lean back on my elbows, and I had to put the lime in my teeth, and they said that the salt would just be like on my neck or whatever, because of course it was afternoon and I was all sweaty from being in Mexico in June. So they poured the tequila starting like at my collarbones, and they were trying to aim it so it would run over the tips of my boobs, and they actually were.
Those would be your nipples.
Yeah, they would be my nipples, and they had pretty good aim. So, and it was good tequila, so they didn't want to like waste any. So they were very thorough in their cleaning up of my boobs.
Right.
And very thorough with the whole nipple action. It was very fun. So, and then of course I got kisses from them at the end because they had to get their lime. So that was fun. It was a good experience, and with two great guys. The only regret I had was that one of the guys was the husband of the other lady that was the next victim. But the other gentleman, his wife, I think had gone back to the room, and I felt a little bad about that in hindsight. I did not think of it at the time, which I should have. And I felt kind of bad that she wasn't there because I wanted to make sure that there were no, misunderstandings or hurt feelings or whatever. And I think that everything's okay. But I probably should have been a little bit more mindful of that. But I'm not always my most intelligent at 5 o'clock in the afternoon desire.
Right.
After drinking in the hot sun all day.
Right.
So then
I'm not a body shot person, so I just watched.
Yeah, you were just the observer.
Yeah. I enjoyed watching.
You look like you enjoyed the show.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I enjoyed putting on the show for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So then the other lady realized that I survived, and she was brave enough to be the next victim. But she had never, she was not in the lifestyle. She and her husband were not. They were comfortable around people in the lifestyle, but that just wasn't for them. They're fairly newlyweds and are just kind of trying to figure out what works for them. So she decided she would do the body shot, and she let me be one of the people to do the body shot on her, which was really fun because I don't think she had really interacted that much with another lady before. So I used Liqueur 43. So she got tequila on one nipple and Liqueur 43 on the other nipple, and I didn't have lime to bite at the end from her, so I just gave her a big old kiss.
Yeah.
And that was very fun.
Yeah, and she enjoyed it.
She enjoyed it so much that I got to do it again with her a few days later.
But did you do alcohol-infused whipped cream? No, you did body shots again.
Yeah, I just did a body shot on it. Well, and you helped me that time.
I did.
She let you help me.
Yes.
Yeah, so her husband and you and I all had her up. We just had her on that white part in the middle of the hot tub, right? Because she was pretty much up out of the water.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had her in the hot tub.
So wait a minute. Okay, so she's not in the lifestyle. She claims she's not. She had a body shot. She kissed another woman. You did a body shot. She kissed me. I think she's in the lifestyle. Don't say it too loud.
The lifestyle is a spectrum.
Exactly.
Yes, it is. Yeah. I think she might be on that outer fringe. And she didn't seem to be running away screaming. I think she enjoyed herself.
No, yeah. And I mean, the ratio to lifestyle, non-lifestyle people was extremely low. I think less than half the people there would probably identify themselves as being in lifestyle. Yeah. Which is fine for us. I mean, I guess if you're the type of person who wants to make sure your chances are high of playing with somebody.
It might not have been a good week for you.
Yeah, you might want to choose a week where there's a takeover, there's a large group there. But we just enjoy meeting all kinds of people. And if you're there at Desire, you're going to be open-minded, and you're the type of person that we're naturally going to be attracted to and want to talk to. So for us, it's more about the person and getting to know people as opposed to we just really enjoy getting to know people and just having, because whether they're in lifestyle or not, you can have the most sexy conversations, at Desire, and you're talking to these beautiful people that are naked and the Mexican sun's beating down on you. I mean, what is not to like? Right.
And then we can go have sex alone in our sex fort if we can't find anybody to play with, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Yeah. There's actually a lot of good with that.
So, talking about sexy conversations.
So, about midweek, we decided to take a walk one morning, and I think it was a Wednesday morning, and we had met some great people. We'd met people in our group. We had met people that were not in this closed Facebook group, just other people at the resort that were just wonderful. And we had met this one couple from the West Coast, and they were not in the lifestyle, but they ended up sitting near us around the pool a couple of different days, and we'd be cooling off in the pool same time as them, and had chatted with them throughout the week. And we made the comment on our walk, we haven't really met anybody in the lifestyle that, we could potentially play with this week, but that's okay. We're still having a great time. And I think I made the comment about this one couple from the West Coast. It's too bad they're not in the lifestyle because they're really attractive and fun to be with. And, you concurred with me.
Yep.
So we had pretty much resigned ourselves that it was going to be a slow week as far as lifestyle adventures goes. And we were fine with it. So we come back from our walk and see this couple in the pool again. And we hang out with our friends all day in the pool. And they kind of joined in with this group of people that we were talking to. And of course, 5 o'clock rolls around. And what do? You migrate to the hot tub. So we did. And I ended up sitting next to this lady on the side of the hot tub. The hot tub was kind of hot that day. And we were sitting up on the ledge to kind of stay out of the water because it was too warm. And the hot tub was starting to fill up. And there was a couple across from us at the hot tub that I had not met yet. And I don't think you had met them either. And she made a comment to them about them to me, about she had kind of an awkward conversation with them or something earlier in the week. I can't remember exactly what she said, but what she said would have made me uncomfortable too. And I knew she didn't know that Mr. Jones and I were in the lifestyle. So I said, well, I said, we're in the lifestyle too. And I would not have felt comfortable if, that would have happened to me. And she was like, you guys are in the lifestyle? And I said, yeah. And she said, gosh, I would have never known that. And then we started chatting, and she said, well, can I ask you some questions? And I was like, sure. So she just started like interviewing us about our experiences in the lifestyle, what made us enter the lifestyle and how we handled it, and haven't we struggled with this or that or the other? And I was like, well, yeah, we have, but we worked through it, and all the things that you all have heard on our past 10 episodes. I kind of like gave her the Reader's Digest condensed version, but she was just so curious about our experiences and our motivations and everything. So anyway, it was the afternoon and it was time to get ready to go to dinner. And one of the guys in our group was going to have an after party after the disco that night. And she and her husband were invited to the after party as well. So I knew we'd see them later. So, they were going to go to dinner on their own. And we were going to go to dinner with the lady that we did the body shot on.
So the long and short of it was the party got canceled, and we told them that, and so we ended up going back to the hot tub.
Right. So I found them at the
instead.
disco, and I said the party got canceled. So I said, we're just going to go back to the hot tub since there's no party after the disco. And she said, oh, I think we're going to do that too. We'll see you there. So, and she did say before she said see you there, she said, well, she said, we talked at dinner tonight, and I really want my husband to talk to your husband. I want him to ask your husband some questions. I said, my husband would be great with that. That would be awesome. So we'll see you at the hot tub. So sure enough, a little while later, we all found each other at the hot tub. And
and you gave me a warning that you had said that, but when he saw me in the hot tub, he made a beeline towards me. And the first thing he said was, if you have a few minutes, I've been instructed by my wife to come ask you a few questions. And so immediately what I realized was when she was talking to you and then she was talking to both of us, eventually she was really curious, but she was also really interested and excited, a little bit excited about it. And then evidently they went to dinner and she got him charged up about it and then sent him on the mission to come back and talk to me. And I could tell by the way he was asking me questions that he was really intrigued by the whole thing too. So we were witnessing this evolution or this transformation of a couple who, when they walked in the door, claimed that they weren't in the lifestyle, but definitely you could tell by the way they were asking questions that that's where they were headed. So we had a great conversation, and we ended the evening. We didn't play. We went back to our room, and the next morning we saw them at breakfast or lunch. I can't remember.
I think we ended up having lunch with them. We didn't really plan it, but I think we had both put our cover-ups on and ended up in the restaurant at the same time, so we sat together.
Right, so when we had lunch, that was the first time that actually the four of us sat down and talked together. And then we agreed at lunch that we would have dinner together.
Yes, because it was their last night.
Yes, it was their last night.
Yeah, so we decided to have dinner together at Aphrodite.
Right, and I guess I should have seen it coming, but I was caught off guard by... all through dinner we talked about, really started getting specific. We were telling them stories, and we told them we were podcasters by that point in time, and we shared some of the stories that we've already shared with everyone, and they were really, really interested. And then at the end of dinner, how did he say it?
He said, we're really interested in you guys, and we want to spend some time with you, but we don't know how to go about doing that.
Yeah.
And Mr. Jones said, I think you just did.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
And we, because normally when that happens, you need to have the talk, right? But, we had gone on a walk that morning, and I had mentioned that it was too bad that they weren't in the lifestyle because they were really attractive, and Mr. Jones agreed with me. And then when we were getting ready for dinner that night with them, again, I made the comment about it, it's too bad they're not in a lifestyle because this is their last night and we could really have some fun with them. Right. And, so Mr. Jones and I both knew that we were both attracted to them on, just many levels. They were extremely attractive people. They had great personalities and just, they were just so intrigued by the whole thing. And a great relationship. Yes, they had a great relationship. Yeah,
he was a true gentleman.
Oh yeah,
very respectful.
They were both so intelligent.
So once they gave us the green light, we took over from there. So, so we went and got into a jacuzzi bed, and we had kind of set our boundaries at Soft Swap, and you ladies started kissing, and I think the four of us were interacting.
Yeah, I started touching her, and she was touching me a little bit, and I was just trying to kind of judge her anxiety level. I didn't want to put her out of her comfort zone, but at the same time, I wanted to see, how far she wanted her boundaries to be pushed.
Right.
So we were really starting to have some fun on the jacuzzi bed, and then all of a sudden, because we skipped the disco,
right,
and we had gone straight to the hot tub, so it was really quiet at the hot tub when we first got there.
Right.
But the disco must have
the disco
cleared
let
out,
and people came to the hot tub, and it got really loud, and
there were some people that we knew there, and just all of a sudden it was like we didn't have a lot of personal space.
Yeah, so we decided to go to the sex fort. So the sex fort is, they have beds around the quiet side of the pool, all the way at the other end of the resort, and that's one of our favorite spots. We've played there multiple times.
Mr. Jones always says, I don't know if we're supposed to play here or not. I'm like, we've had so many security guys walk by us. I mean, we've played in this bed all 4 times we've been at Desire.
Yeah, by ourselves.
We've never got arrested,
right.
Never been asked to stop. So
we all 4 went over, got in that bed, and it was a clear night. The moon was out. You could hear the waves. It was just the breeze was coming through there.
It's perfect. And it was breezy, so there were no mosquitoes.
Right. We started playing again. Then we did some oral between the ladies.
Yeah.
And it started heating up again. And there was a point in time there where I just looked at her, and I could tell by the look.
Well, all 3 of us were giving her attention, all at the same time.
Right.
And so she had, 3 mouths, 6 hands on her at once. And she had
the biggest smile on her face, and she kind of giggled a little bit. And I could tell that to me, the transformation was continuing, because the conversation was the foreplay for us. And then as they started to develop an interest, and then to see her relax so much and have so much fun, and I could tell that she was enjoying herself.
And then her husband was just, he was just grinning from ear to ear. He was just in awe of how I was just amazed at how relaxed she was.
Yeah.
I didn't really sense any kind of anxiety, or I think she had decided, and she was just going to experience it.
Right. So about that time, when things started getting passionate again.
Well, we had finished with her, and then we had kind of split up a little bit. I mean, you and she were interacting, and he and I were starting to play, and it was getting really, really hot.
Yes.
And then
the power washer started. Yeah. Unbeknownst to us, the maintenance crew had pushed their little cleaning cart out, and they were right near us, and
they knew we were on that bed,
and they just started that power washer up, and we kind of all just
looked. Tried to ignore it.
Yeah, so we can't ignore this.
Oh my gosh, it was awful.
So the only thing left to do as good Boy Scouts was to
move again.
Yeah, move again.
We packed up and went to their room.
Yep, we went into their room and finished playing with them, and kind of got back in the mood, did some of the same things again, but it
was amazing how, because it was the first time we had played with them. It was the first time they had played at all.
Right.
So she and I kind of spent some time with her husband, and she started becoming very reflective while we were both playing with him. So I just kind of went back to you and started playing with you, and then we each finished with our own spouse at that point, and it was so hot. Mm-hmm. All the noises, and like you 2 guys were like really in sync with each other.
Oh, that's
that
right.
was so hot.
Right. Yeah, and I know that we have a good connection. To get a little bit more explicit, because he started to have his orgasm, and I wasn't even close. I didn't feel like I was close, but when he started to have an orgasm with her, all of a sudden mine came out of nowhere.
I know.
So that was really cool that we all finished at the same time, and we told them afterwards that, don't expect that every time, because that was just it was Pearl, sensual environment, the alcohol, you get to know everybody, they're curious, very attractive, great relationship, and it kind of just turned into a lot of fun. So that was their first experience, and then we saw them the next morning at breakfast, and we'll talk about that in a bit. And that was Wednesday.
Well, they left on Thursday.
Thursday. So the other experience that we had that we didn't know that we were going to have on Saturday, which was the last night we were there, there was a couple coming in from Canada that we had met in August at our last trip there. And when we met them in August, we really spent a lot of time with them and got to know them very well. And when we left there, we didn't play with them, and we kind of felt like that was a bit of a missed opportunity.
We were new then, though, and still
not very confident.
Yeah.
So we were glad that they were coming back and we would have dinner with them, but I didn't expect that we would have a play opportunity because they had traveled all day long and I knew they were going to be tired, and it was just going to be nice to see them for dinner. So this is experience number 2 that was unexpected. So after dinner, they mentioned something about, how did that conversation go? How did we get on to the...
Well, we were going to go to the disco, but we were a little bit late.
Right.
And we had a couple bottles of wine at dinner, so we were pretty relaxed.
And he asked if we wanted to go to the jacuzzi bed.
Yeah, so I think instead of going to the disco, we sat out in the lobby for a little bit. I think we just got some water at that point.
Yeah.
Because I think it was kind of warm, and then they just said, "Do you want to just skip the disco and go to the jacuzzi beds?" And we were like, "Okay,
we're in." Yeah,
because that was our last night.
That was our last night, and we did soft swap with them, and I have to say, she reminded me a lot of Morticia Addams from the Addams Family.
Now, see, I don't think Morticia Addams is that beautiful.
Well, I just remember as
this lady
I just remember like as an 8-year-old boy. Okay, this is one of these fantasies. And it's because, remember when we were there last time, she had that dress.
She had on a long red gown
that was clinging tight all the way
like
down
a
to her
Morticia
ankle.
Addams gown.
That's what. And she did
flared
have
a little bit at the bottom,
long dark hair.
Yes,
but she was more beautiful.
Oh, she's so beautiful. Yes.
Yeah, and very expressive person, and just enjoyed herself with all of us on the bed.
Yes.
So we did another soft swap experience there on the last night. So both of the experiences that we had were unexpected and came out of literally, nowhere.
Yeah.
So
very unplanned.
Yeah. So the whole idea about going there, just being open-minded and let things happen, we can definitely vouch for that worked. And we really hope we get to see them again. Just a wonderful couple.
But we haven't told the funniest part of the whole situation. So we played with them on Saturday night, our last night.
Right.
And then, they knew we were leaving Sunday morning, and we had mentioned to them that we had gotten our photos taken.
Oh, right.
And they had done a photo shoot the year before at Pearl.
Right.
So, and he had his laptop with him. And they gave us our photos on a DVD, and they gave them on a flash drive too, but I couldn't get the flash drive to connect to my iPad, and we didn't have a computer with us. So anyway, he said, well, I've got a DVD player on my laptop. If you want to look at your photos, you can use my laptop. So they said, if you want to come up to our room after breakfast, we can look at your photos, and then we'd be glad to show you ours. So we were like, okay. So what room are you in? So they give us the room number. They were in the same room as our friends from the West Coast
that we
played with.
Yeah. So we were in that room twice with 2 different couples.
So that's an awesome room.
Yeah. They said, we're in this room. Do you know where it is?
Yes, we do. We were just there a couple nights ago.
Yeah.
That was so weird. I mean, there's 88 rooms in that resort.
Right.
And both couples we actually played with were in that room.
It was a lot of fun.
Okay.
So to wrap this part of it up, what we've learned about ourselves on this, and I, you really explained this better, but having a healthy expectation, and redefining the lifestyle so that it means something that's authentic to us.
Well, I think I finally said to myself, I think the definition of lifestyle is that being in the lifestyle is just the attitude that you have.
Right.
You have an open-minded attitude, and you're open to experiences with people. And just because I'm full swap with one couple doesn't mean I'm going to be full swap with another couple. I might only feel comfortable doing soft swap with that couple. So I don't really like the labels.
Right.
Because I think everything we do is going to be situational.
Right. And their body shots and the exhibitionists, the people that there were people there that claimed they were not in the lifestyle and they were having sex in front of other people.
Right.
So if you're right, it's the attitude that you have, and that's the way that we approached it. And we also talked about kind of defining ourselves, the flexibility that we have, because we just want to connect with people. So wherever you are on that spectrum, from being an exhibitionist to just doing a body shot all the way to full swap, wherever you are, when we connect with the couple, we go to that level.
And we're going to have fun.
And we're going to have fun, right?
We're not going to feel like we've missed an opportunity or whatever. It's just, and I don't think that we've planned to be that way, but that just seems to be the way that it happens, and it's awesome.
Right. And so but when you go to a profile, it makes you pick: are you full swap? Are you situational? Are you soft swap? But for us, it's not physical as much as, it turns out to be physical, but it's really more, it's about the physical attractiveness, the personalities, who the people are, their stories, their relationships, and all of that is more important for us than, okay, what do you do? We're looking for, full swap, because that eliminates a whole lot of opportunity you have to connect with people. So even though we soft swapped, that was perfect.
It was hot.
Yes, it was extremely hot. I was not disappointed at all in either situation.
Okay, I was disappointed when the power washer turned on.
Well, yeah.
Because we were just getting the good stuff.
Yeah. Well, that just made it for a unique story. So that's Desire Pearl. It's really hard to explain if you've never been there, and a lot of people send us emails asking about it. If you go with the right attitude, you are going to have a great experience. The clothing optional part of it, after 15 minutes of that kind of goes away. So all of the things that normal life you think is going to be an obstacle, and are you going to like it? If you approach the vacation kind of the way that we do and the way that we described it, you're going to have a great experience. And don't define it before you go. Wait until you come back and then reflect back on what kind of a vacation that you had there. So that's how we describe Desire Pearl, and we had a great time.
I can't wait to go back.
Right. So when we come back, we have some snapshots to share, not only our snapshots, but snapshots from a couple of listeners. So
yes.
We'll be right back. Okay, it's time for our snapshots for episode 11, and we've got one that we're going to share from you from a couple of listeners from upstate New York. I'm just going to go ahead and read the message that they sent. Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Jones. This is B, the husband, and S, the wife, from upstate New York. This is funny for us, but embarrassing for another unnamed couple. We played with this couple in a group setting before, and now it was time for a one-on-one session just with them. We met them for drinks, and things moved to the hotel. He was really, really attracted to S. Things progressed to the bed, and then he pulled an American Pie. He came before he even put his penis in. Poor guy. Was totally embarrassed, and S was like, "What the F?" I figured out what had happened, so I put a rush on things. Funny things happen in the lifestyle. Well, thanks for sending that in. Funny things. It was not funny for the guy, but
No.
it was funny for you, and it was funny for you to share. So we appreciate the snapshot from B and S in Syracuse. And we've got a couple more snapshots we're going to share from listeners. But first, Mrs. Jones and I are going to share our snapshot. So do you want to go first?
Okay, well, mine was on the sex fort. It was actually the night that Mr. Jones and I spent the evening together. We just had dinner for two. And I think we went to we went to the show.
Oh, yeah, so we went back to the sex fort.
Yeah. So we had done the hot tub thing, and then we went. I just wasn't feeling the jacuzzi bed that night.
Right.
So I wanted to go to the sex fort. I just wanted some peaceful, sweet, private, loving time with my husband.
So I scoped out to make sure that the power washer was nowhere in sight.
I know. I think it was the next night.
It was.
Yeah. So everything, we figured, well, the sidewalk is nice and clean because they power washed the heck out of it the night before. So we figured the coast was clear. So we had the place to ourselves. There was not a soul around. So we just had a really nice time together. And Mr. Jones was working his magic on me. And sometimes I can be a little loud.
No.
And I wasn't worried about anybody being around. So I just decided to just be myself. And Mr. Jones really brought me to like a really, really intense orgasm. So I just let it out. And sometimes I'm not very like ladylike when I have an orgasm.
No, it was pretty primal.
I know. I always I don't know, like, I think I mentioned buffalo one time.
No,
I don't know. It's
you know what? When a woman has a real orgasm and a sound comes out, it's hot. It doesn't matter what the sound is. It's primal. It's hot.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. It was loud.
So
that's all
anyway,
I know.
sorry.
It was loud. So I recovered from that. And as soon as I recovered and I kind of got my wits about me, I heard voices behind us. So I kind of turned my head back, and I'll be darned if there isn't a master suite with a plunge pool in that last building at the very, very quiet end of the pool. There was a couple was in the plunge pool. They could not have been more than 20 feet from us.
Well, there was a hedgerow. When we first got in the sex fort, there was a row of hedges that disguised that the tub was actually right there.
Yeah.
So after you and I started playing, that's when they came out. And you didn't know that they had come out.
Right.
And I didn't care, so I just kept going.
Oh my gosh. I was so loud. And they were, I'm not kidding, 20 feet is stretching it.
I don't know what you're embarrassed about, because that probably just like charged them up.
They were probably like, shut up, you're distracting us.
It was Desire Pearl. People have sex outside.
Yeah. I had sex outside, that's for sure.
Yeah. So your snapshot was turning around and seeing company just about 20 feet
right
away.
There. Yeah.
Well, they didn't start clapping or anything.
No, they didn't.
Yeah. Probably because they were in the midst of having sex themselves.
Well, that's true. They were probably busy.
Yeah.
Well, it was worth it. Even if I embarrassed myself, it was worth it. You did a good job, honey.
Well, thank you. Yeah, well, my snapshot is not as sexy, but I think it's funny. So the couple that we told you about that we played with midweek from the West Coast, they're from California. And when we got back, we exchanged emails. And one of the things that we suggested was when we have an opportunity, let's FaceTime each other. So we had set aside an evening, and that's hard to do on the West Coast with the 3-hour time difference here. And so they said, well, our teenager's not going to be home. So, why don't you call at this point in time? And so we did, and we FaceTime with them, and we had a great conversation kind of recapping the week and talked about some sexy things, but also talked about, real life. And I guess we were chatting for about a half an hour, and then we were just about ready to hang up anyway. And all of a sudden you hear a door open on their end and their teenager had walked in the house, and the gentleman that we were FaceTiming with, he all of a sudden got this really panicked look on his face, and he turned his head and he said, I didn't think you were going to be home this early. Or, you didn't tell us you were going to be home. And it was so funny because we weren't doing anything. It was just like instant, like caught in the act. And I'm thinking, what a role reversal it was, because the teenagers walking in on the parents who are simply having a FaceTime conversation.
But it's like they were busted.
Yeah, they were totally busted. And then his reaction was, what are you doing home so early? And I just remember, I remember you and I getting caught.
Totally got caught by my parents
your parents one time. And
we
heard the garage door open, and I was trying to grab my pants, and you ran into the bathroom, and it was the same feeling. So here we are at our age, and we're having a conversation. It was just so funny though.
We all had normal clothes on. It wasn't like we had like lingerie on doing FaceTiming or whatever.
Yeah. So anyway, that was funny. It was funny. And so what we asked them to do, since we connected with them and had such a good time with them, we asked them if the two of them would mind sending us a snapshot. So this is a bit unique because they sent us snapshots from the time they were spending with us. So I'm going to read them both to you. So this is his snapshot. We all had been paying full attention to my wife, so she suggested that poor Mrs. Jones was being neglected. So this must have been on...
This was still on the sex fort.
It's in the sex fort, okay. So I'll say that again. So she suggested that poor Mrs. Jones was being neglected. At some point shortly thereafter, I slid my hand down across Mrs. Jones's stomach and beyond to discover that she was really, really wet. This was incredibly hot and was burned into my brain. The next morning at breakfast, when Mrs. Jones asked about snapshots, that memory came charging back, but I kept silent as it was not the sort of breakfast conversation I was accustomed to. Though unfortunate, as I suspect the conversation could have taken a wicked turn if I had spoken up. I love that. That's quite a snapshot.
It is quite a snapshot. It kind of makes my heart rate go up a little bit.
Because you were really wet. Yeah. I like it when he says, not the sort of breakfast conversation I'm accustomed to. Welcome to the lifestyle.
I know, that's right.
Cheers.
Get used to it.
So that's his snapshot. So if your heart rates come back down, I can share hers.
No, I just go on. Let me have a moment.
So this is her snapshot. My husband and I had decided that we would suggest that we get together with the Joneses for some play. That night at dinner, I had on a tight t-shirt and no bra. As the conversation progressed and we listened to stories of the Joneses' experience in the lifestyle, I felt waves of excitement which caused my nipples to repeatedly react. The stimulating effect was new, exciting, and very memorable.
And it was a white shirt.
And I thought she was cold. So it's really, really hot that the conversation that we were having
was turning her on.
Yes, believe me, I noticed.
Oh, I noticed too.
Yeah.
They were fine looking.
These are very, very great snapshots because this is the first time that we've read snapshots of people that were reflecting back to the time that they spent with us.
Pretty hot.
So thank you to you two, actually for the New York couple as well, sending us snapshots. And we're going to continue to ask for you to, all of our listeners, if you have a snapshot, try to keep it short. Anything that you'd like to send us that's funny or sexy or memorable that you can describe in a paragraph would be great. So please email that to us. So before we close, we've got a few bits of business that we need to take care of. So Nadia in New Orleans I saw you looking on your app today. So what's the countdown?
22 days.
22 days till Nadia in New Orleans.
Yep.
And we've told you a lot about that, so we won't go back into that. There will be a link on our website. There are still a few rooms left at this short date. So if you want to go, we highly encourage you to go. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. We had mentioned that there's going to be a meet and greet for our listeners and for listeners of Swingercast and a couple of other podcasts. Mm-hmm. I just spoke with John from Swingercast yesterday. And we're waiting to finalize the date and the time because the Naughty in New Orleans agenda is not completely set. But we believe that our meet and greet is going to be Wednesday afternoon, probably at 5 o'clock, and probably at the Hard Rock Cafe, which will be right across the street from the hotel.
That's where it was last year.
Yes.
So we're assuming we can do the same thing.
Yes.
But again, it's going to depend on the Naughty New Orleans official schedule.
Right. So what we would like you to do, if you're going to Naughty New Orleans, please either join our Cassidy community, go to Cassidy and search for We Got a Thing and join our community, or follow us on Twitter at We Got a Thing, because I will put the final place and time on both of those places. So keep an eye out for that. And we're really looking forward to meeting you all at Naughty in New Orleans. That's going to be a great time. Another thing that we want to talk about is at Naughty in New Orleans, there's going to have an annual lifestyle award banquet. And so I've sent a tweet out on this, but it's going to be on our website as well. This is an opportunity for our listeners to, and for all people in the lifestyle, to go and vote for your favorite club, your favorite lifestyle resort, your favorite lifestyle podcast, your favorite lifestyle blog. There's a lot of different categories, and we're on there. And of course, if we're your favorite podcast and you want to vote for us, that's great. But more importantly, it's an opportunity for those in the lifestyle to express, and recognize these things in the lifestyle. So it's really a good opportunity for you all to participate in sending a message to, these are the types of things that we like, and have those things recognized. And this is the first time that we've ever seen anything like this done. So feel free to do that. The other thing that we wanted to mention is we've been kind of back and forth on this for a while, but we finally decided to add the Desire banner to our website. And so what that really means is if you click through, just to be completely honest with you, there's a Cassidy banner and there's a Desire banner. If you click through those banners from our website, we do, in fact, and you book through Desire and you end up going to Desire, there is a bit of a commission that we get back. And same thing for Cassidy, though I haven't seen anything from Cassidy, so no. it's not like it's a lot of money. We're not doing it for the money. We're doing it because these two businesses, Cassidy and Desire, and I think you can tell by just listening to this podcast, we really, really just can't say enough good things about.
We really believe in the Desire experience.
Yes.
For a lifestyle vacation. It's just, it's just a perfect fit for us. We've been 4 times now. We've had 4 different experiences. Every one of them has enhanced our relationship.
Yes. And we believe that if you're curious about this and you're listening to us, you would benefit and really enjoy yourself by going to Desire. So, if you choose to book through our website, that's fine. But the main thing is we just want you to go to Desire. Yeah. Whether you book through Orbitz or directly or whatever. But we want to be transparent and let you know that if you do book it through us, that we do get some sort of a commission. And we just now decided to do that. They've been asking us to do that for a while. And we've been holding off. But we had such a great time again that we felt like we really need to endorse it this way. So yeah. And Mrs. Jones, you want to put out your monthly plea? Yeah, we have gotten a few new reviews on iTunes, and we really appreciate it. But if you haven't had a chance to give us a review yet, we would be forever grateful. Yes, we got 3 more. I think we're up to 21 now. So and come on, this is free. So we've only really asked for 2 things. We want to get your snapshots, and the sexiest voice on iTunes just asked you to do iTunes reviews. Yes. And people keep piling on with that comment now. Yeah. Okay, well, what else do we have? Anything else before we... I think that's it. Okay, please keep the emails coming. It's funny, we get... people email us and they must think that we're celebrities or something because they can't believe we write back or that we write back. I'm telling you, look, we maybe get one email a day. So we encourage you to email.
We love the emails.
Yeah.
I mean, the stories that people share with us are so thoughtful, and we're learning from our listeners, just as much as hopefully you are taking tidbits away from our stories. It's just, it's amazing. And people, we have some people that we just correspond with regularly now. It's like we've become friends with them from across country.
Right. Yeah. So please, feel free, if there's something that you want to share with us, if it's a snapshot you want to send, or if you just want to make a comment, or if you want to
have a question,
or talk about something else, please contact us. So our email address is wegottathing@gmail.com. That's wegottathing@gmail.com. Our website is wegottathing.com. We have a new picture on our website. So on the last episode, remember I said I wanted to post that picture, and you told everyone that we were going to have a conversation about.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Jones won.
Yeah, so there is a new picture of Mrs. Jones holding.
Oh, we're going to put a picture of the Mayan coffee up, too. I don't think we discussed the Mayan coffee.
Yeah, no one cares about the Mayan coffee.
Oh, well, look at the picture. It's very cool.
Okay, we'll put the Mayan coffee picture up, but I'm also putting the picture up.
Yeah, they serve it after dinner at Desire.
You holding the wine glass between your...
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, anyway, so our website is wegottathing.com. Follow us on Twitter at wegottathing, and Twitter's been really active lately, and like I said, we're going to communicate out the Naughty in New Orleans stuff, so it's a good opportunity to keep in touch with us. Or you can join our Cassidy community if you're a member of Cassidy. And if you join Cassidy through our website, I think you get 3 free nights.
Nights.
That's a good deal.
Yeah.
A good deal for us too.
Yeah, really. Nights doing what?
Yeah, 3 free months of Cassidy, and then you can join our community. So, I think we're about done with episode 11.
I think we are.
Thanks for listening. We are Mr. and Mrs. Jones, and we got a thing.
What's your thing?
Looks like no more being a steak for me. Back to being a tater. Just you and me again. Potato head.
Mr. Potato Head, to you, you backstabbing murderer.